Now it's my distinct pleasure to welcome a friend of SAP and a friend of mine, the Chief Information Officer for Royal Dutch Shell, Mr. Alan Matula. Alan? Any particular side?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Alan, thanks for coming all over from the Netherlands, Holland, to join us. Everyone knows Shell. Hopefully everyone uses Shell. Can you provide some insight into the scope of your business and the impact and how it relates to the technology landscape that you have in place today?
Yeah, I mean, very similar to the conversation before me. Very big company. Obviously, we operate truly global. SAP has helped us get to that point, right, where we can operate our company on a global dimension that we haven't been able to do before. We've got operations in well over 70 countries. We got about 150,000 people on SAP, and that includes Shell and contractors. 43,000 retail stations, 30 plus chemical plants, refining locations. So a real world-class company that operates at scale.
Yeah. Shell has been a customer of SAP for a very long time. Right from the start of the oil and gas solution, has innovated with SAP through the 90s and done many things with SAP. I have in the past 18 months, we had an opportunity to redefine that partnership from a blank sheet of paper, because there had been nothing done in our industry, or at least I or you had not done something like that previously. And we had to throw out all the rules that SAP had, and we redefined the relationship that we have with Shell. Can you expand upon that?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we go back 2+ decades with SAP. We're very proud of the partnership, but it's changed over time. In the early days, it was all about integration on some of the old platforms. I think R3 presented opportunities to actually drive our global business model. Now we look at the landscape, Rob, and we look at the disruptive technology, and HANA's a big part of that. And we think about what do we need to do together going forward. And the traditional model of sales into our organization just didn't work for us. And so what we needed was better collaboration. And very similar to the prior speaker, we put together a model built on an A-team concept, where there's one SAP person and one Shell person in a given business area, and they're driving innovation. They're driving adoption of technology, and hopefully all of that learning and experience is being siphoned back into your engineering groups. And so this is a true collaborative model built in a collaborative way, and we did it as a byproduct of putting together the renewal agreement.
One of the things that when we did the renewal agreement, which I was fascinated, you had the concept, the A-team doesn't stand for the A-team, the concept of most people understand the A-team, it stands for adoption. And you had this concept that you wanted your users to consume more SAP. Can you elaborate on that whole consumption-based model?
Yeah, I mean, the world is so complex these days that you have to actually get in the business suite and understand how to leverage the technology. The traditional model of just getting a software product and trying to roll it out through normal integration, that takes you only so far. But it actually sub-optimizes the technology you're trying to put in place. More importantly, on top of that, when you take HANA and you take some of the cloud activity and you take what's going on in terms of vertical services being introduced, the kind of dialogues that you have come up a significant level. Yeah. So where our CFO might or might not have been interested in the configuration of SAP, under the HANA paradigm, they're very interested because it actually changes their business model. It will change the way our CFO looks at what he does in his finance organization. It's going to change what an asset manager does. It's going to change how our subsurface folks think about SAP and their technology. So you not only need the collaboration, but you've got to raise the collaboration up to a level in the company that's unprecedented.
So when we look at the way that we've actually kind of managed the relationship over the last 18 months, so it's actually a year now. One is we talk about running it better, we talk about using it better, and we also have this innovation bucket. And I have been so impressed with your team, how they took design thinking, they went to the Hasselblatt Institute, and I think you took it to a different level.
Right.
And I hate to say that in front of Bill McDermott, but I think you guys have really taken it to a level where the amount of projects and opportunities that you're working on in your business to redefine things has really impressed me tremendously.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're very excited about what you're going to do for HANA with the suite. But actually, a lot of the early innovation has come from just raw ideas, taking a hard look at the HANA platform and thinking about what are some of the things that we have never been able to do. So HANA is being introduced into subsurface technology, never before an SAP position. It's being introduced into our cash management, into treasury. It's being introduced into our trading organization. And when we agreed to spend the first amount of money on HANA, we were worried about adoption. Yeah? We were worried about adoption. I now have about 70 projects in flight. Yeah? And very few of them actually have to do with the suite conversion, because actually it's using the power of the new platform to think about business problems we couldn't solve before. And so when we started, Rob, we started with, well, let's talk about replacing what we do. Mm-hmm. And soon the business actually has changed their language to, I've never been able to do this, and now can in-memory technology and can the HANA platform allow me to do something I've never been able to do.
And I saw that firsthand with Hasso on TP, and it was pretty amazing to see what you've done. When you think about Shell's vision for the future, how does it align with SAP's innovation path?
We're very aligned, huh? So we actually talk about 3 themes for us in technology. We talk about mobile first and anywhere, which is very consistent. We talk about cloud, and I'll come back to a belief around cloud. And we talk about big data, which is actually part of the HANA platform. We truly believe that as you guys think about the reconfiguration of the suite, that actually there's a huge opportunity to actually own vertical clouds or vertical service spaces. And we think that the HANA platform actually positions both SAP and Shell to actually think about redesigning their core business, not making an incremental change, but what we're after is a step change based on the introduction of new technology. Just like client server created a step change, we believe HANA and in-memory will create that same step change, but we have to do it together. Yeah, we have to bring the domain experience. You need to bring the engineers and the architects to bear, and I think that's where this collaborative model is actually pretty key.
Absolutely. Stefan, do we have any questions? I can ask now? It says, Stefan, do we have time?
We have time.
Okay. Are there any questions?
You mentioned in terms of adopting apps or building apps on top of HANA.
Yep.
One of the things I'd be interested in hearing from you, because you mentioned this sort of vertical cloud opportunity, is do you want to see an app ecosystem evolve on top of HANA, or do you feel like the most advantage you're getting is actually sort of developing those apps in-house? And if you're developing them in-house, I guess how easy has that been how easy is that to do for you all, given that you're not necessarily a software company?
Yeah, if you think, we think about it in kind of three pillars of value. Huh? The first one, which is just table stakes, is TCO. Yeah, would I go through a big transformation like this for TCO? That's interesting, but it's not enough. Before they progress the HANA for the suite, actually most of our innovation is being done on top of HANA with, I would say, 50% of the data nothing to do with SAP. Yeah, so actually greenfields. I think it's a combination of in-house development as well as working with some other partners. So I'll give you a great example. We have always in Shell wanted to have access to the performance of every well around the world. Yeah, 20,000 wells. Well, to get performance of a well in my industry, you actually have to get to the process control systems, which we run something called OSI. Yeah. So what we worked with SAP and OSI is to create an interface where we can suck out all this real-time information and provide our engineers with transparency around well performance. Yeah, there's an example of innovation at work. There's an example of we built something together. Actually, SAP built the interface, OSI enabled it, and then we wrote the user app on top of it. So it's actually almost a combination of the three. But I wouldn't underestimate the power of the platform on top of the transition of the suite. So it's TCO. We are going to reinvent the suite, and that's where I'd like to see a thicker stack in terms of vertical services. But then we'll innovate on top of that, and I think it's a great platform for ISVs as well. And I think they're right on the perfect point, which is to keep it open and to get an ecosystem of ISVs out there.
Great. Alan, fantastic.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
All right.
You're a true partner. Thank you.